has a little bit of dementia.
What'd you do?
She's so funny. Well, I
My
said,
mom.
your son is an asshole. And she goes,
What?
Paul? How do you know his mother?
Works on her.
Yeah, from the clinic.
Oh,
She's got
oh.
sciatic.
She's
got
Sciatica.
I got the lumbago you wouldn't believe.
I don't even know what that means.
But yeah,
That's the next question,
so,
David.
So funny.
I
I
don't know
just
what that
rolled
is.
you
What
right
the
under
lumbago
bus.
is. The gout.
Oh, the gout.
My father-in-law had the gout.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Your big toe hurt?
And you didn't say gout. You said the gout.
The
Yeah,
I
gout.
got the gout. Every time I eat pork,
You
the
always-
gout flares up.
In my world, at least, you feel like a legend every time that somebody comes in. It's the craziest thing. My big toe just hurts. And I'm like, oh, you have gout. I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, go to urgent care.
That's-
You got gout. And they come back in, they, I did have gout.
And-
How did you know that? I'm like, well, that's the symptom.
That's the royal disease.
It's a good guess.
Royal disease?
The royal disease because it's from eating rich food. And so
Alcohol.
only the royal people had it.
Alcohol, red meat.
So why don't I have gout? Because I'm rich.
It's coming for you.
It's coming.
You're going to get the gout.
You don't want gout because you're going to be
No,
in
I don't want
excruciating pain.
No, I don't.
Your
No,
big
I
toe.
don't. I don't. No,
Yeah.
I don't want it. I was just.
He's just saying he's rich.
Yeah. Red meat, beer.
It's all I drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It's only a matter of time.
Oh, no.
All right. AC's off. It's a limited show, man. We only got so much time until it is currently 68.5 degrees in the studio. I will give temperature updates to the show throughout. That just popped into my head. So let's get straight into the show and play bikes. Oh, wait.
I was going to say something.
What?
By the end of the show, this is going to smell like the ape exhibit in the Mexican zoo in July.
I don't want to
Most likely.
It might get a little ripe.
I
Yeah.
don't want to
We'll
know
have to see.
how he knows what that smells like.
Yeah.
Haven't you ever been to
Very
Mexico?
specific.
No.
I've been to Mexico. Never an ape to be. Hey, week 1 is done and dusted, and week 2 has plenty to provide, at least on paper. And so it is, by the way, hot here in the Pacific Northwest. This is the longest surviving podcast ever to cover life on two wheels. This is the Packfiller Cycling Podcast. I am your host. My name's Pat Bulger. Hi. And with me are the panel of experts, opinions, and best pedaling pundits out there. Want to meet them? Well, okay. As with all shows, we begin with a proper prologue, a short segment. Whoa, my teeth whistled there. Yikes. Short segment that sets the stage, even though it doesn't really affect the overall standings of the show. Tonight's prologue is as follows, boys and girls. If your pet could talk, what would they say about you? If your pet could say something about you, what would they say? If you're like, so tell me what's up with... David, do you have a pet?
No.
What would Gus say about you? There we go.
That's a good one.
All right. First off, he's the most competitive, nice guy you'll ever meet, Mr. Paul Main. We all got to agree that one, right? Yeah. You're a nice guy, and you're extremely
Except for
competitive.
this weekend. You're a real ass.
Was he?
4th of July. Yeah, he cracked me.
Well, it's because you deserve it. How are you, man?
Doing all right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
If Flanders could say something about you, what would Flanders say?
He really does not like me farting in the middle of the night. It scares him. He jumps.
It scares
And occasionally he gets
when your
underneath the
cheeks
covers.
Go,
I know. It's because of flappy
Your butt's
skin.
rolling at me.
It's like, you know, it's almost like those balloons when you just kind of let them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Okay. So your dog would
Yeah,
confess
he's
that
afraid of my farts.
Really?
Yeah, he just jumps, looks at me like, what the heck?
Do you think it's because of the ethical realm of it? Just the sheer etiquette? It's just like, how
No, 'cause
dare
he-
you?
No, because...
Do you think your dog actually has like a British accent? Just like, Father.
No, he's
Oh,
Boston.
good Lord.
He's from
why
Boston.
why wouldst thou dust in mine face?
No, he's from Boston. Hey, what
Boston.
the fuck? What are you
The
doing
fuck?
farting in my face?
I'm out of here. Give
Yeah.
me the khakis.
Give me the khakis. I'm going to get a beer down at the bar.
There we go. Sucking him off. He's the nicest asshole you'll ever meet. Yeah, that is. You're the nicest asshole, Mr. Sam
Yeah.
Waples.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, yeah. And I meant that kind of as a backhanded compliment.
But we all agree.
Yeah.
My mom doesn't.
Yeah, no, your mom.
She said
but
he's a nice
my
boy.
mom
Yeah.
probably does.
She didn't say that he can leave his shoes underneath my bed at any time. She did not say that.
She offered for me to come live with her.
Yeah.
What is that?
You think
Yeah,
you're
that
the
was
only
my-
one that
that
charms
was their
hearts
mom.
over 65?
Yeah. You've got a competitor here, buddy.
It's a Waples thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think Pat's just got sick.
Yeah.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Why would the shoes be under the bed?
So,
Well, you don't want to trip over them when you're up getting a drink in the middle of the night.
There you go.
there it is. Now he gets it. So, Gus is not the brightest bulb. So I think if he were to, like, anytime, it's just like, oh, hello.
Gus wouldn't say anything about you.
No. He would just go,
He's a
where's
lab.
Where's mom? That's
So
it.
Gus wouldn't
he
describe
loves
you in
her.
any way, shape, or form. There's no
No.
way he likes or dislikes or anything about you.
No, mom
Wow.
is the only thing that matters.
It's like a 9-watt light bulb, that guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
Pretty darn dim.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's so
fun
flat.
when he sees David, though.
Yeah. Okay. Next, he's actually been described as obnoxiously nice, Mr. Jackson Bolger.
Hello, yeah. Apparently.
You know what? I would take that as a huge compliment.
Yeah.
though. That because it was. I think it was intended as
I
such.
know.
It's like,
I
God
never-
damn, he's nice.
I never take it as a bad thing. I think being a kind person is what a lot of people look for.
Yeah.
God, you're annoying.
So you're the one that made that comment. then.
Probably.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. What does Jimmy? How does Jimmy describe you?
I talk to my cat like a person.
Yeah.
So I think he'd probably say exactly what I would say about him. I don't know, that asshole who takes me off the water bowl when he uses it like a litter box.
Okay.
You know, so
I would imagine a cat would have some biting tones to it. He would probably use the word asshole.
yeah, it's interesting because cats are like known to take on personality traits of their owners.
Yeah.
And so it's really fun to see which traits he takes on from me and which traits he takes on from my wife. I think sometimes I don't know why I see him as like I genuinely do talk to him like I do humans. So I think that he
No
kinda-
baby voice. No like.
No.
Who's a good?
like, you know, we all have our little things here and there
Yeah,
with
yeah,
him.
yeah.
But yeah, I think he would describe me, like I said, as the guy who takes him off the human litter box. So.
Okay.
Is that really true? Cats take on your...
Yeah, it's like cats take on certain personality traits of their owners.
No, I'm serious. I wonder if that's the phrase copycat comes from.
That's interesting.
I never even thought about that. Somebody look that up.
Somebody look that up.
Where's the intern?
I need the Google.
Yeah.
Be a lot of assholes out there because all cats are assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Jimmy,
Look at our
Jimmy's
planet.
all right. Jimmy's all right, but
Yeah.
I was a guest, so Jimmy probably
Yeah.
treated me nicer.
Our cat is he's kind of dog-like. He meets you at the door.
Yeah.
He's a big cuddler, really needy,
Yeah.
really needy.
Yeah.
God, that mic is turned up
That's how hot his
you guys hear
mic
that?
is. Yeah.
Yeah, crystal clear.
And
bad.
every one of our listeners heard that.
Oh,
Like, turn the AC
It
back
sounded
on to
kinda
drown
like-
that noise out.
Yeah. Next off, he's nice if there's beer, Mr. David Waples.
yes.
And
Accurate.
sporting the tank tonight.
Yes.
That was a conscious decision.
Showing you
Sun's
guys-
out, guns
Showing
out.
you guys my. They're kind of fading my tan
You got
lines.
the tan lines. Yeah.
A little bit.
You got a little man hair, little tuft poking out the bottom there. It's a very interesting decision.
I haven't taken it off for a couple of days.
Oh. Changes a
Why does
whole
Paul
lot
have
more.
to sit next to him? Poor
Yeah,
guy.
Exactly.
I got some pretty bad burns back there.
You do?
I did a 50-mile ride in this tank top
Jeez.
in Missouri.
Hasn't washed it.
No, I did wash it.
Oh,
but-
okay.
Holy
3
shit.
months
I don't know
ago.
if because you don't have a pet, you don't have to answer now because I know what your pet would say.
Take a
Nice
shower.
guns, bro.
Nice. What is Sam? You were saying that Gus reacts.
Oh, every
when he's
time
right.
that David walks in, he goes,
David,
And then he says,
you want a hug?
"Do you want a hug? Do you want me to lick your ears?" And he jumps up and he gives me a hug
So
and
he likes
he
you.
nibbles on my ear and then apparently that's how dogs give you kisses.
yeah, I nibble on your ear.
I have never had a dog kiss me. Then
Unworthy.
apparently not.
Gus
Me-
would kiss you.
Gus is a good dog. Gus is a very good dog. Me, I'm nice if I have to be. I'm Pat Bulger, and my dog, I have two now. I am going to pick Bender because Scarlett is terrified of me basically 24/7.
And everything else.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, she is. She's scared of everything. Yeah. If I walk into a room, she's like, "Oh, I'll go over here. Sorry, I'll just be over here."
Oh, Scarlett
I walk into that room. Yeah, she does. I don't know. That hurts. Bender's our old time dog. And I would say today, Bender would say I am an asshole. I am the biggest asshole ever to set foot on the planet because I took him to get his haircut today. And when you drop him off at the place at the groomers, he is just like total freaking out. He's shaking so badly, like, you know, we're going to take him to his death. Like, we're pushing him off the plank. And he hates it. He hates it. In fact, so much I would pull up my shirt, but we already have somebody else who's half naked. But he jumped up on me and scratched on my back today, and it looks like I'm into some sort of kinky sex, but it's just my dog scratched the shit out of my back. But he would say that.
You didn't give him drugs?
Bender?
Yeah.
No, not for this kind of stuff. They don't want you to at the. I don't know why.
Heavily sedate.
Yeah. Usually we think about that. It'd probably be like, you know, flipping a pancake
Yeah.
to shave it though. But other than that, I would say he says I'm the cool guy, especially around 5 and 6 o'clock because we have a rolling thing in our house that at 6:30 on the dot, I put a button down on the ground and he steps on it and it says the words bark box. I programmed it to say bark box, and he steps on that, and that means it's time to get the reward. So he does that. And then I make him do a bunch of tricks. Like today, what we're working on these days is I put a treat in one of my hands, and I hold it behind my back, and then I put it out in front of him, and he has to pick the hand. And if he picks the wrong one, he picks the other too. But, you know, yeah, but it's now a little parlor game we do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did I just kill the first 10 minutes of the show with something? I usually try for something on the opening gigs.
No, that was great.
That's great, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Well, pets that we love.
Talk to me about your cycling life, gentlemen. It is currently outside. It says it is 95.5 degrees Fahrenheit. Actually, that is outside the studio. Up above in the direct sunlight. Last check, it was 101 degrees Fahrenheit. 97. Okay, so we're close.
104 at my place.
Yeah. So it sucks, and it is going to not get below 90 some for the high for the next 10 to 12 days. So speaking of that, how has your past week's cycling life been, everybody? Dave's been out there, you know, sporting the guns and
David did a big week.
riding like a fixie rider.
Yep. Yeah, I had a big week.
Out of Missouri.
Where'd you? Yeah,
It was my first week out of residency last week. So
I just spilled beer.
Yep, I've had nothing to do except whatever the hell I want for the last week.
Nice.
So I started off Monday with 120 by myself.
120 miles.
Yep.
In a week.
No. On Monday.
Straight out.
Yeah, I just was like, yo, I'm going to get on
He's
my
like,
bike.
I'm a free man.
What the
I got nowhere to be. And so I went for a 120-mile ride, and then we went to Missouri, and I got another 180 in there. And so I got a 300-mile week last week, which is like pretty dang good. I haven't done that in forever.
Since college.
Mother of pearl.
Yep. So, and then this week we'll just be doing the morning ride because it's the only time you can ride at 5:30 in the morning.
Okay, I need to break this all down a little bit. Number one, 120 miles straight. Where did you go?
The like Latah Valley. You go like to Fairfield, and then there's like a valley back there, and then over to like Cheney area and Williams Lake, and yeah,
Cheney Plaza.
Yeah, all the flats.
How'd
up
you
there.
feel at the end of 120 miles?
pretty tired. Yeah.
That's
pretty
like,
tired.
Just out of nowhere, you just cranked out 120 miles and you felt okay.
I felt pretty good. Yeah.
Average speed. Cough it up.
18.7, I think.
Wow.
Jesus. What the?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You're slow.
My average power was like really good until the last 30 minutes, and then it was like crashed, burned, dead. So Sam bought me dinner that night though, and I was recovered.
I was just going to ask
Did
who
Sam take care of you?
gave you
Sushi boat.
food.
Sam, he bought me a sushi boat.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Where'd you go for the sushi?
South Hill Grill.
Really?
It's, I mean, pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty impressed with this sushi boat.
That's
it was
one of
also
these-
this literally like probably 2 feet long and about a foot almost wide. It was huge.
Wow.
There was a ton of sushi.
Filled 3 people up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
What type of sushi?
What it had like a bunch of different things from like sashimi to like specialty rolls to classic to like
What
chunks
types
of
of
raw
fish?
fish, everything.
Salmon,
Tuna.
tuna.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Jeez. Wow. Okay.
So nobody else has anything to contribute.
Anybody else
been
doing
riding?
Anybody else? Jackson?
Not following that.
Yeah. I mean, we did a ride on the 4th, which was really fun.
It's a good ride.
Yeah, we had like a new rider with us, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel great because I'm kind of coming off of like racing and everything. But it is kind of hard to ride outside. I'm kind of tempted, not tomorrow because it's going to be 100 degrees by the time I get home from work. But
104. Yeah.
yeah, I'm kind of tempted to just like try when the 90s come to
To
go
ride inside or to ride
just
in
like
the morning ride.
No, not in the morning ride because I actually wouldn't get back in time.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
I have to
What
be at
time-
work by 7:30.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
bummer.
No, you
Yeah.
can't do that.
But I'm kind of tempted to go after just like a short ride because I know that where I would go would be like in the shade and everything, so it wouldn't be like awful. So I'm tempted to do that. But yeah, I rode inside yesterday, which like is what it is, you know. It's more just
I did see that you did
Yeah.
that. Yeah, and I actually I think I commented like
did.
good call. You
Yeah.
know, it was
It's-
because in the
yeah.
afternoon it's just
maintenance right now. You
Yeah.
know, it's just riding to keep on top of it because I do kind of want to keep the fitness I have,
Yeah.
which feels
If
really
you do
nice,
it on
so.
the weekend, you'll still be good.
Yeah, exactly. And I have a idea for your birthday ride, but we'll get
Oh.
to that later.
Okay.
I mean, I figured there would be one.
Paul,
birthday
what
present.
you been doing?
Well, just the 2 days I rode with you.
That was
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
I did Sunday. I did some work at my sister's house. They put a new deck by their pool, and I fixed an outlet that wasn't working.
And occasionally fell into the pool.
Oops. No, I didn't have time for that.
Oh
So,
wow.
Unfortunately, I was going to go out at that time, but by the time I was done, yeah, it was a little later than I thought. So
Wow.
no ride on Sunday.
I've been on a day on day off kind of a schedule.
Nice.
Which has not been too bad. It's not going to, I'm not going to get any massive gains, bro. But it's been kind of just nice. And on the other opposite days, usually I'll try to do something that is a little bit, physically oriented. So I'm kind of lifting or something like that. But I got to say, Paul and I did the best bookended ride of the year. We started at, and by the way, shout out to First Avenue Coffee because that is a really good coffee place. It's one of my new favorites now in town because they have both light and roast and dark roast coffee. And I'm not saying I'm dark roast. I'm not saying I'm like oily, gross, smoke and it's that kind of stuff. But I like something with a little. I like some coffee with a pear, with a sack, and none of the stuff you guys are drinking is this light roasted shit, and it's just like.
I mean, at your age, you need a more bold taste. You don't have as many taste buds
You're all
remaining in there.
dead.
Yeah.
You know what? Next time I make you coffee, I'm gonna put a cigarette out in it, and then we'll see if you like it.
Probably like, oh, this is a little
wow,
smoky.
yeah, I like
Yeah.
this tobacco flavor.
Yeah. It reminds me of being out on the plains. A cowboy hat and a bedroll, my good horse, and then we ended up with Benedito's, which was great. And I keep forgetting every time we stop at Benedito's, and I don't know if this is something I should mention on the air, but we order 2 beers usually when we're at Benedito's, and those beers are
When you're dehydrated.
They go further.
Well, they're a little bigger glass.
they're
than this.
20 ounces.
That's
Yeah.
because you order the 20 ounces.
Well,
They
Paul
have
does.
16.
and
You
I
have 16.
Paul does, and I'm like, well, when in Rome, I don't want to look
orders
stupid.
like a 5%er.
Yeah, it's
You ordered
5.6.
the IPA.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's different.
That's
Wait, what?
Yeah. Wait,
I don't know what the ABV is on their Citra, but that's what you get.
But it hits. Yeah.
Yeah, the ride home is always kind
Yeah.
At least you're going
I just laugh
uphill.
a little bit. I laugh a little
I
bit.
go downhill.
Yeah.
With 30 miles an hour.
Yeah. How are you guys handling this heat? I mean, in terms of riding time, Jackson mentioned that he actually broke down and rode indoors yesterday. Are you into the not at all? Are you the get out early, or are you the suffer in the heat no matter what type of a school of thought?
I'm get out early. I mean, I rode like before we rode on the 4th. And so I rode in the morning, and then I came and joined you guys. And for you guys, I cracked in the heat. I died. I was out of water. Like, I died. If it gets over 80, I'm fried.
Interesting.
Yeah, 80 is like a tipping point for me.
Really? Wow.
And so, like this week, yesterday, and this morning, did morning ride at 5:30. Yeah, and it's like a kind of a race pace group, which is pretty fun. And
5:30.
it's so early, and I'm with you on that. It sucks, but like that's the only time. Like I'm not gonna ride when I get home. It's way too hot.
Yeah.
And I could I could just lift at the clinic, but I don't know. I want to ride because I need to get back some of the 3 weeks that I had off. So yeah.
There's just like you only have until like 11 or 12.
Yeah.
And then the day is over. And it's like, for me at least, I'm not going out when it's 90 and the temperature's increasing to like 105. So like getting up at 5:30 is fine. I mean, because I don't have anything to do. I don't know if you guys heard. I'm not working for the next 3 months. So then I took a nap this afternoon. So tomorrow I'm just going to keep riding in the morning, and then,
Yeah, if anybody wants to join us.
Yeah. Sleep when it's hot, ride when it's cool.
We're going to do a 4 mounts loop.
Really? At 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As a school teacher
You're joining?
in the summer? Hell no. No, I will leave this house at 8:30 in the morning and go for like an hour and a half, hour 45.
Yeah,
That's not
fair.
bad, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good time. It's a good time.
It's interesting to see what threshold we all have, because in terms of the heat, because I find that everybody's so personal when it comes to this. Like Sam, you said 80. I can go. I think 95 is my limit.
I can ride into the 90s.
You can ride.
I hate
hundreds.
it. I don't like it,
Yeah.
but I can ride in the heat.
Because
I ride in the hundreds.
yeah, we've done 114,
Yeah.
and that was
Belgian Waffle got 114.
hell.
Yeah.
That was you almost saw heaven.
Yeah, I was in a bad way at a certain spot.
yeah.
And then I told you to leave me, and you did.
But I knew. Well, you were moving.
But
You were moving.
We
had
had
chest rises.
But son,
That was called a twitch.
we cooled
Death
your
rattle.
core temperature
Yeah.
enough.
Oh yeah.
You,
No.
I wasn't leaving him on the side of the road.
No.
But
Well, it was side road.
you were on the bike.
But it was still a side of the road.
Yeah, and then I later was
I caught
throwing
you.
up.
Yeah, I caught you.
So, but I'm dealing. Yeah, I'm very much dealing with it while I ride inside. I think that's a big helper. And then because I have air conditioning at my house. Yeah, which is super
Speaking
nice.
of which, indoor temp up to 72. We're still doing
Wow,
okay.
we're still doing well.
okay.
But I think that my heat. I think I can handle the heat pretty well. Like when I can feel my helmet shrinking in on my head like a watermelon and rubber bands, that's when it gets bad. But I think I can handle it pretty well. You ever seen those videos where people rubber band and they explode? Yeah, that's what I mean. But that's how I'm taking it.
Yeah. I'm okay in the heat. I don't like it, but I'm okay in the heat. Paul,
I'm
you're
perfect
like,
in the
you can
heat.
do it.
I could ride at any temperature.
Yeah.
Heat doesn't bother me as long as I have fluids.
Yeah.
That's I can
when
go
you're
forever.
as old and crusty as him, the
Yeah,
heat just
it's-
warms up your joints.
It's just,
That's right.
It
It
avoids
does.
rigor mortis.
The
The rigor mortis in the joints.
rigor.
My rheumatic arthritis.
So Sam, I mean, and David, what's your? Are you okay in the heat, or you just?
I
Did we
can
get through this to you?
I can do into the 90s. That's what it was in Missouri. It was like 90s and like 100% humidity.
Oh,
but
that's
That's a way worse.
It's
That's
just
a
got to be
gut
shorter rides.
Yeah.
Like an hour to like 2 hours max, because there's just not enough water.
That's a good thing. Humidity does throw a curveball.
Yeah.
on
It
me.
does.
Yeah, with temperature.
Nationals were pretty brutal.
that was 100 degrees with like 98% humidity. It was over 100 degrees.
100 and 100,
Yeah.
I remember I did the Olympic Sports Festival back in 1987. Yes, I'm old. In Raleigh, North Carolina. And we were doing a crit downtown. And everybody was dropping out because it was over 100 degrees and it was 90 some. It was like just shy of 100% humidity. It was just horrible. And I remember at the back of the pack, and I'm just holding on, and a guy's looking at me, and he's standing on the side of this. He says, "Don't." He's yelling at me, "Don't drop out." I'm like, what? Don't drop out. It's worse if you're standing on the side of the course. Don't drop out. It is better because you're moving. It's like, oh my God. It was the worst. It was so bad. But what about racing? What if the race, kind of like Paul with Nationals, what if you know, Sam, it's going to be triple digits, it's going to be brutal conditions, but it's a race. You've paid for it. Do you make it a donation to the event, or do you
Sam makes
you
a
suck
donation.
it up and do it?
No,
Yeah.
I think back in the day, like when I did Richmond, Virginia, like the Nationals over there, we trained in the heat as much as we could to get ready for that.
Yeah.
I think that it's just like anything else that I would approach. It's like, well, what are the elements of that? And heat is definitely one of them. I mean, it's just that I require a stupid amount of fluids to keep going.
You are a thirsty guy.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's unreal how much, like, I could easily go through two full 24-ounce bottles in 2 hours, 20 miles even.
Yeah.
Like an hour I could go through that. It's crazy.
Adipose tissue is mostly water. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of it. So
But the problem is I just burn through that all.
Yeah.
You'd think I'm well insulated. Should be able to stay cooler.
I am a hump on my back away from a species change. I seriously don't drink it up.
Dad, you're like, you just drink a 16 ounce before, and
good.
you're like, I'm good for the whole 40 miles and 100 degrees.
I don't drink enough. I know I don't drink enough.
Yeah, you had like a bottle and a half when I was like, Pat, please.
Yeah.
Please.
I should have just shook it in front
Yeah,
of
you
me.
should have just sprayed it
Done the
out.
full Chevy Chase from Three Amigos, where he just like spits it out, dumps it all over his head, spits it out again, throws the canteen to the ground, takes out some just
chapstick.
lip balm.
Yeah.
Lip balm, offers the lip balm to everybody else, but doesn't offer any of the water because I'm just that way. I don't know why. But then you look at my jersey. Like Paul and I got to Benedito's on Saturday, and I was like, you want any salt on that pizza?
Yeah.
Just shake my jersey.
you guys ever weigh yourself before and after?
Yes, and I love it because I come home and I'm like, I'm fit.
Interesting.
That's below 200.
I did it.
I don't want to tell you it's all water, but it speaks to
So?
it's very interesting. Well,
It was in me, and now it's not.
it's super interesting because it speaks to how much you would have to drink and how much you can lose. Like on that 120-mile day, I lost 9 pounds from start to finish.
What?
I got on at the beginning and the end, and I was 9 pounds lighter, and that's all water.
You know what holds a lot of water?
Adipose tissue.
Adipose tissue.
Yeah,
Fat fuck.
Jesus.
Right back at you.
Right back
Saw
at you,
that
you
coming.
dipshit.
You guys should be calling it Oedipus tissue because both of you have mommy issues.
Oh God.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you guys remember being as a kid? I mean, Jackson, I remember we did this a lot with soccer, but I don't recall, like today, thinking to myself, I can't go outside. It's too hot outside. I can't go outside. I don't know why, but I don't remember ever as a kid my parents saying, stay inside, it's too hot. Or my cycling coach ever changing a ride time. Jackson, you had soccer practices regardless of the time on open fields all the time. When did the pussification of America begin?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because
is it global warming or is it we just all
we
wussies?
found a little thing called a heat index, and that is a stupid thing. So if you work, I'm not saying it's actually stupid. It protects children. But
just make more.
No, that's stupid.
If
Well,
you
we protect them.
If you work at a school with school-age children, not high school children, because they don't go out for recess, there is such thing where only certain temperatures are actually safe now. If it reaches 100, it is actually deemed as dangerous and uncomfortable. So now, like, for instance, at my work, we can't take them out. And so I wonder if that has anything to do, because I do remember soccer practice. It didn't matter. We were on the turf. It was probably like 120 degrees at some days.
Yeah.
And we were still going. But we would just take longer breaks. And what they do, for instance, in like professional soccer, and what they would do with my games that we would play in like the Tri-Cities in late July.
Yeah.
We would just take more water breaks. That's all they do. So you can just stay hydrated, but you're still like, how hydrated are you? You know, that's all up to personal choice, how much you want to drink. So really, if you get heat exhaustion, who really cares? We have substitutes.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Did anybody see in the big gravel race in Kansas, the dirty, nope. That's not what it's called anymore. Unbound.
Yeah.
There were guys carrying water for cooling, not for drinking. Did you guys see that? I thought that was pretty interesting. I had not seen that previously.
Got 8th place.
Water for cooling. How?
Yeah.
I mean, how
They
so?
were
You just-
dumping it on themselves. They
Yeah.
would fill up massive, like they'd have like 4 water bottles and a like water bottle in the back just for dumping.
I can't.
Dylan Johnson.
Thank you.
Who was it?
Dylan Johnson.
Yeah.
He got 8th. Is that right? And he like literally calculated it out. And he's like, if I stay cool, I'll be able to produce this much more power. So carrying that much extra weight will be beneficial because I'll be able to cool myself the whole day.
And that's a known thing. Like
Yeah.
marathon runners do best at like in the high 50s or 60s or whatever, because your power output drops off when you can't cool your body.
It's like 25%, isn't it? You lose
Something
like
yeah,
that.
it's some ungodly amount probably.
We're
That's-
overthinking this stuff.
Well,
We are
there's-
overthinking this.
But
a
heat
pretty-
training
Send the
does-
kids outside.
Oh, absolutely.
When they
But if we're
pass
talking about,
out-
like, let's bring this back
When
to
they pass
biking.
out, bring them in.
by
you know.
their hair.
Yeah.
Put them in an ice bath.
But like
Throw 'em
for
back
biking,
outside,
that's why it's so
right before
important
the
to like
days of our lives
continually
come on.
drink water,
Yeah.
Not beer.
What are
not beer.
What are you gesturing
you
to
know,
me for?
I
I was
because
fine.
you drank half a bottle.
And
I was
wanna let
fine,
you know that
Sam.
when you go to the
Was
bathroom,
I the one that cracked?
Yeah.
I want to let you know when you go to the bathroom and your urine is the same color as this bar, that's not normal.
No, it's not the color of this bar. It's dust.
This is hang on.
I pee and it just goes.
This is brown.
Well, yeah, like I'm obviously over exaggerating.
It's so yellow, it's brown.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's concerning. Yeah.
Does
it hurt?
That's not true.
Does that hurt?
It's like fire
Do
coming
you
out
have,
of the end of
do
his
you have
dick.
stones come out?
Sting?
Yeah.
Does it just instead of liquid, it's just because
No, I've told you it's dust.
rocks.
It's just like
rocks.
Yeah, it's just
brown
kidney
rocks
stones.
are coming
Well,
out.
I got pea gravel.
when you
That's why they call
accidentally
it that.
when you accidentally plug the shot back into the wrong hole and it blows everything out.
Yeah.
That
Oh my god.
fills the room. Just sorry, hon.
It's like
really
when you
had
put-
to go this time.
It's like when you put sunscreen on inside, it's just all over the room for the next hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except I use lotion because that's what we did in my day. I don't
Bullfrog.
do the spray stuff.
Oh, I don't do it either, but
Do you spray
I
stuff?
walked into our cubby room today and it was full of sunscreen.
Really?
And I was inhaling it.
No.
Sorry, I'm bringing a lot of work today.
You are.
Yeah.
Cubby room. I was like, where's that in the house? So I guess you guys, we are already 30 minutes in, and we haven't even touched base on the Tour de France. The Super Bowl of cycling, once declared by Mr. John Tesh. So let's talk about the Tour de France. Of course, this part of the show is made possible thanks to our friends fueled by Scratch Lobs. Now that the heat is on, it is especially a time to maintain all hydration, and Scratch makes it happen. Multiple flavors to encourage your drinking, proper nutritional and hydration balance to get you through the summer. Scratch Labs, everybody. So after a week, we've all been up to speed, right, David?
Yes, I have nothing to do.
Do you watch the full 6 hours?
No.
Oh.
No.
Even when I got up early, I was like, oh, okay. What was the really flat stage? What number was
That
that?
was boring.
Today?
That was the
Everyone?
Well,
one.
today,
no,
but
I mean, a
also
lot of them. Yeah.
there
where
were no
the
attacks.
one Jasper,
The one before
that's
the
today.
TT.
no,
Yeah. Yes.
Abra
Before the TT.
Hansen or something, the polka dot guy.
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
The day before the TT. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely mind numbing. I was just like, I tried to watch that when I was up. I had nothing to do and I was watching. I was like, they're not even doing anything. This is like
What
was a-
feed are you watching?
Peacock.
Peacock.
Did you watch today's stage
Ladies and
too?
gentlemen,
Not
the
the full
jury,
thing.
I rest my case.
it's still a boring stage. That's why I like the Vuelta does none of these
Have you
sprint
heard
stages.
Nicholas Roach talk about what he's going to eat that night?
He's gotten a lot better, I will say.
He goes through the menu.
He did it today too.
And it's great. I love it. I'm just like, what are they eating tonight? I'm now in. I'm hooked. I want to know what Nicholas Roach is going to eat tonight.
First day, I was like, wow, this guy's super boring. Now I kind of am fine with it. I think he's catching his stride a little bit.
He's getting better. He's getting better. So after a little over a week, the overall looks truly like a who's who of the top in the sport currently, with Tadej Pogacar, Remco Evenepoel, Jonas Vingegaard. Yes, I say Vingegaard. Email me. Primoz Roglic rounding out the top 4. Juan Ayuso, Joao Almeida, 2 UAE Emirates riders in 5th and 6th. We will be touching base on that. Carlos Rodriguez, Mikel Landa, Derek G, who somebody picked, even though he lost his sprinter. Hi. And Matteo Jorgensen.
Don't go past 3.
I know, but Matteo Jorgensen rounding out the top 10 currently. I'll just open this up free for all. What are your thoughts on how the week turned out? Any surprises? Any things you're happy with, proud about? We can go from there.
Remco Evenepoel is surprising me. Like, I definitely thought that he would be out. I mean, out of like the real top contention by now, but he's actually putting attacks in off the front. Like, seeing him on the gravel stage 9, was wild.
He was visibly frustrated with a couple moments in that stage. Which is good. But I'm embracing that part of Remco, that he's just a little bit of a whiner.
Yeah.
But
he's like a Bernardino.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah.
But
Bernardino backed up his whining.
he did.
Yeah.
I don't think he really whined. He just said,
If the other
knock
guys,
it off.
if
And
the
that
other
was
guy,
it.
but if the other guys in the break weren't working, Bernardino would just attack the break
Yeah.
and leave them all behind.
Which was like Tade on that stage.
Mm.
Anyway,
Kinda.
but I would just say he was surprising. And, Jonas is still there. Like, Primoz is still alive.
Just initial surprises, Jackson.
I think the time gaps were not what I expected in terms of who they are too. I did not expect Remco to be that 33.
Yeah,
I expected Jonas. And I was right about Lidl Trek. I will leave it at that.
What were you? How
They brought the wrong sprinter.
Exactly. They brought the wrong sprinter.
Mads was on fire.
He was on fire, but he got beaten every single time.
But it's consistency for the green jersey.
It is consistency, but he didn't win a single.
He consistently wasn't great.
Exactly.
He was in there. He was in the top 2 or 3 for the green
They
jersey.
have a generational sprinter that they brought to the Giro.
Yeah.
Well on.
Yeah. Okay. I'm upset because I picked Mads, and I'm going to defend him tonight.
I like Mads, and I think he is one of the strongest in the peloton.
It's heating up in here, and I'm not talking just emotionally.
But I think if they're going to fight against like a Jasper Phillips, a Biniam Girmay, a Mark Cavendish, you got to bring the right guy.
Yeah.
Didn't you pick Benyam for something?
I did not.
I feel like you were talking
That
about him.
would have been a me for sure type of choice. I did not pick him though.
Haven't you been like picking him for like,
No,
rooting for him?
No.
It was you that's been rooting for him all year?
Yeah.
No, it's been nice
'Cause he's
to
got
see him.
talent.
Yeah, it's been nice.
First black African, 2 stages.
Did anybody else?
Yeah.
Was it?
Go Eritrea.
I just want to know.
Hold the phone. We're
Okay,
just
sorry.
you guys are jumping.
Initial.
so many
I've had a lot to
Cats are
drink.
escaping the park.
Had a lot to drink.
Yeah, welcome to Jurassic Park. Oh, everything's fine.
Well, you haven't answered. What's your surprise?
I'm in charge of the show. Shut the fuck up.
Same genes. This is where it goes.
Yeah, Paul. I want Paul's input. On
I like
first
it. I
week.
think it's. I didn't expect as much of a GC kind of like, not. I mean, it seems those guys are watching each other pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised at Remco because he wins 1 week.
Very true.
Stage races pretty easily. It seems like he always falters on the second half, about 2.5 weeks in. So,
what do we expect from Remco in terms of climbing legs?
I hope he does well. I'd really like to see him have, and personally, I'd like to see a good fight. I think getting back to my thought, the gravel stage could stand alone on just like a one-day event. That it was
in
pretty
terms
epic.
of the drama.
Yeah, and I think the drama
crazy.
Yeah.
But the thing is it reminded me of, we've talked about this on our podcast about our district championships, different categories, because there was 2 races into one.
It was at least 2 races at one point in time.
Yeah.
And so, to me, I think that's
great
kind of cool.
analogy. Yeah.
It was kind of cool. I mean, the cameras were having to go switch it back and forth and back and forth. So it was. I know there was a lot of complainers, and a lot of people don't think that deserved to be in there. The gravel stage, because of misfortune, it could put a GC. I don't believe in that. Some of those mountains are the same thing. I mean, to me, a descent. On a descent, some of those are. Like, they're so technical that it could end somebody's even career, you know. So I don't think that's a legitimate argument. I think it's a good thing to do every other year, maybe, like they do the pave and stuff like that. The Tour de France is about attrition and the best all-around cyclist, and that is a part of cycling nowadays. I see no problem.
Yeah,
with
it's not the best climber.
Yeah.
It's the best all-around cyclist.
Does this mean you're going to do gravel with us?
I'll do. I love gravel road races.
This
not
fair.
This
You
wasn't
can ride your gravel road bike with us.
Yeah.
This wasn't Strada.
gravel bike.
This wasn't Strada Bianca gravel.
No.
This was
It was
gorgeous
harder.
gravel.
A lot of people
This was-
said
yeah.
it was harder because there was potholes
Deeper.
and they
filled
filled them up with gravel. And on the first section, sector 13, there's a massive hill in there, and there's a lot of people
Running
off their
it.
bikes.
Yeah, that was an epic moment.
Yeah.
Watching that race.
There was so many. I watched the whole thing.
Yeah,
What
absolutely.
I didn't like is Vendigo said that gravel is not his thing because how light he is. But I kind of think Pickock is actually lighter than he is.
Yeah.
And he was in the mix. I
Yeah.
don't think that's a legitimate excuse.
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's just a matter of having the heart and desire. If you don't like it, you just square heads down and get it done
Yeah.
and do it well.
And that is what Vingegaard is doing. Mm-hmm. It seems like he is prepping his entire race for the days that he's going to do well. I'm seeing a lot of stuff online commenting about, he just sat in, he hasn't been working in these moments. I'm like, this is a chess match, guys. He doesn't have to attack Tade. He has to hold on until he gets his moments.
You know what I was thinking about, though, is that it's just so annoying because he can be on the flats, right? And, like, Tade has to do something crazy to get away from him. And then, Tade on that stage, if he would have gotten a gap, would have just blown his legs off, right? But he couldn't get a gap.
Yeah.
And it's like then you get to the mountain stage and, like, that's where Jonas excels. And so it's just, like, one of those things where it's like, dang.
He is admittedly a very boring rider to watch.
Yeah, he is a very boring. Like, Tade is very, like,
exciting,
and he's explosive, and Jonas, it's like I understand why he is doing what he's doing, but it's like, dang, like this actually, I'm gonna bring this up. You don't like the Ineos days. Well, the
Who
Sky
doesn't
days.
like?
You
This
don't
is an
like.
audio podcast predominantly.
Sorry.
So you guys are like, you, and I'm like, you're pointing to the lamp.
Maybe it is important that we have like a broadcast person here.
Yeah.
because I
Who'd
hate
have
on
thought?
Phil Liggett a lot.
Yeah, who'd have thought?
Maybe you're useful. Anyway, okay. Besides on local bike rides. So.
Besides on little bike rides. Ow!
Okay.
Take
okay,
my microphones.
okay. All right.
Go home.
So what I was thinking
I
is,
am home.
how is this any different than the Sky Ineos days where we had trains that were just like holding it an unbelievable wattage and dropping riders off?
Yeah.
It's just that this has now multiple teams that are capable of doing that, right? But you're still delivering the top couple of riders to the top to then be explosive. It's just the back in the Sky Day, there was nobody else that could match.
No,
that.
I disagree. I think that's what it's always been. I think you've always had the teams lining up for the specific people in the specific moments of the race. Merckx had it, yeah. But what I think you've got now is first of all, we have such. I mean, as I said, look at this top 10 right now. These are. In any other decades, you place any of these riders in another decade, and they would have probably been. And I'm going to probably piss off some some historians. these riders could compare with any other decade with what they're doing right now. We have 10 amazing people in the top 10 of this Tour de France right now. And it doesn't matter because they're all on such equal levels. In the back of my mind this year, I will always walk away from this tour wondering what Jonas Vingegaard would have been like if that crash never would have happened. What would it have done to this tour?
I was just going to say, y'all are giving him a hard time about sitting in and playing it smart and being safe. And 2 weeks ago, you guys thought it was a dumb choice to
somebody
pick
was
him.
brushing his teeth for him.
Well, probably.
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Right. And you guys were giving him a hard time, like, hey, he's not even going to be able to be in it because he's had all these injuries. But, like, you know, the fact that he's even in the top 4 is amazing.
Right. You're right. And he would never show up to a public forum in a tank top.
Well,
Don't stop this.
I love this tank top.
I
Okay.
know you do. And it's obvious because nobody else would.
I do think that the injuries sustained to Jonas have shown a little bit.
Yeah.
I think on that stage that Tadej won, I think that was something that we were all like, oh, he doesn't have that edge that Tadej's got right now. And so I'm interested to see what the next 2 weeks look like, because we always say on the first week that Jonas looks weak because he sucks in a first week. He always does. He always loses time. And so I'm interested to see what these long mountain stages look like, because we do have, honestly, probably the strongest version of Tadej we've ever had.
Yeah.
In terms of the Grand Tour riding. So I'm interested to see what it looks like moving forward from here. I think that he has been the best rider throughout the entire race so far, but it's just when it gets hot and it's just when it gets steep is when we look at Vingegaard.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I talked about this on another show, but it was my idea, so I can reuse it. You imagine the graph. You know, Tadej started this at his peak. Is that going to slide as the 3 weeks go? Vingegaard did not start at his peak. Is that going to climb and so when are these two lines going to cross on the graph? Are they going to cross at some point in time in the next week? Is Vingegaard on the way up? Is Tadej on the way maybe sustaining, or is he on the way down?
It's hard to imagine anybody can actually be on the way up.
In a Grand Tour, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. Like,
You
maybe
get
there's
fitter
slopes
throughout the 3 weeks, or you maintain throughout the 3
think
I
weeks.
think maybe their slope of decline
Is less.
is different. So if
I see what you're saying.
yeah. So
Because like that fatigue rate is just like you don't get better. Like I understand what you're saying because I previously thought that, but knowing the like physiological side of this now, it's like you don't get better. You just that maybe you don't decrease as much as other riders.
Well, I think, the old style of the way the tour was raced, that potential guys would come a little underbaked, because it was actually like the first week was 9 sprint, 8 stages of flats. They just rode in the pack, got their legs underneath them. There was the way that it's the race now and the way they do the parkour, it's completely different. So you really have to manage your abilities and how much juice you give up on each stage, and you have to map out this stage is worth squirting out, as much as I got on this one, and this one is a recovery day, and try to not get involved. And that's the beauty of the sport, I think. I think speaking of that arch and coming down, I've never seen Tadej ever taper off. He's had a bad day, but I don't think if you think about it, even in the Giro, he came in hot and finished hot. And again, we got to keep in mind he's probably not on top either, with being sick 10 days prior to.
Yep.
So,
and I think that something I'm happy you talked about it, was the fact that we talk about Tadej's bad day. He always has one, especially racing against Jonas. The first year he raced against him, he didn't have that because Jonas wasn't prepped for it. But he does always have one bad day. But I think what you mentioned earlier is the team aspect of this now.
Absolutely.
Is that we have what Jumbo did 2 years ago.
Yep.
In that we now have Juan Ayuso and Joao Almeida within the top 15. And so I think that those two riders can really have a strong impact on the next
Top
2 weeks.
six.
Yeah, top 6.
And And look for Adam Yates to get involved too.
Yeah.
He's been sitting way back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so when the mountains come, it's going to be.
Because I think that when we think about that stage 11 that Jumbo-Visma at the time executed so perfectly was that they used the two most respected riders by Tadej. He respected those riders so much that he would chase, for instance, Primož Roglic, who was down by quite a ways. And I think that they have that now. I think that with those two riders in the mix, one goes, and if Tadej's feeling like shit, Jonas still has to follow them because they will catch that time as the mountains begin to go up.
You mentioned Primož Roglic. Has he been smart keeping his powder dry, or is he in poor form?
That's such an interesting question. I saw on the gravel stage that he was super skittish, and so I think that's pretty
Every time that group accelerated,
he was off the
dropped.
back. Yeah, and I think that's pretty kind of pretty normal for him. I think he's he might be a little scared on courses like that just because he has crashed so many times in Grand Tours and he probably wants to get that monkey off his back a little bit.
Yeah.
But I am really interested to see how he goes uphill because the hills that we've seen him go on so far, he has been completely out of the mix.
Yeah. I keep wondering in the back of my mind because I picked him, and if it's my fault. No, I keep wondering because I'm going there's keeping your powder dry, but there's also when you're losing time. You don't keep your powder dry when you're losing time. You close that gap, and he's not closing that gap.
He doesn't have the team for it. I don't
Well,
think.
yeah,
Jai Hindley's
I don't know.
not.
If you look at his style, think about
But Red
when
Bull
he
gives
was
you
successful.
wings, Jackson.
Yeah, well, it doesn't give the whole team wings.
Yeah.
Apparently not.
But if you think when his success is he's always there, he's always finishing, he loses a little bit of time, and he picks certain stages where in the last 2 kilometers he just goes on a flyer.
Yeah.
And he wins stages, and that's where he gets his time, is that in that kilometer he grabs 30 seconds or, here and there he just chips away. So I think he's still in the mix, in my opinion. But
I mean, look how close all the times are. Like compared to last year. How much did Jonas win by last year?
Like 2 or 3.
It was 5.
5.
It
No,
was over
it was
5
over.
minutes.
I thought it was
Yeah.
like
but that was in the
7-ish.
time
It
trial.
might
was
have been.
the big thing.
Yeah, but it was
was-
like it was one of those things. Like it was crazy the time differences. Like I think it was like 1 through 5, where like Jonas was like 20 minutes on 5th place.
Yeah.
This
Currently,
was
top
our-
5 are within 2 minutes and 16 seconds.
That's crazy. That is such a close race.
Yeah, that's 1 week.
Yeah.
But okay, slight shift of gears. Talk to me about the day Mark Cavendish broke the record.
Called it. I was the only one who picked him.
Yes, you did.
No,
You did?
I
Yes, he
said
did.
that he was going to do it.
Oh, let Rocky have
I
his
Let me have
said
my
it.
one
Run
moment.
it back.
Let me have my
But
one
you did
moment.
pick him as your sprinter, which was stupid.
I realized that on the first day. I was like, it was a mistake, but I hope he wins one.
That's 5 points.
Yeah.
Here we go.
More points than Mads
Yeah,
is going to
he's
get
not
me.
going to be in the
That's
white
true.
chamois.
Hey, we haven't decided upon the punishment
It's
yet.
the punishment.
I'm not wearing those shorts.
Also, you're
again.
wearing them in public this
I
year.
will not wear those shorts again.
I'll pay for
Going
your
out
therapy.
drinking
Yeah.
in my shorts.
Yeah.
You guys just occasionally throw a beer on my
Yeah.
shorts. It's like, no! They can see my religion. Oops. The day Cab broke the record, I was watching down here, and it is the first time, other than watching the nightly news, that I have stood up and screamed at the TV. This time in joy. I've come a long way with Mark Cavendish. I didn't like him when he was young. But I think we've said on the show, we have watched this guy grow up before our eyes. And to see that moment and to see how well behaved he was not bursting into tears. He was not overly emotional. I think he was just like, damn right.
I
Done.
did it.
I did it.
Yeah.
And it was such a, oh my God, what a moment. And to see who got second and third on that stage? I don't have it in front of me. But they were patting him on the back. They were
Jasper
sprinting their
and-
butts out.
Christoph.
Yeah, Jasper and Christoph. They were sprinting as hard as they could. But when they got across the line, everybody was happy. Prudhomme, the freaking director of the Tour de France, was almost brought to tears.
And it was a properly earned sprint.
Yeah.
That was he. I mean, if he sniffs the line, he is still the Manx missile.
Tactically, that
He
was done
It was
so well.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It was, and it was like of his old. A lot of people said he's deviated from his line, but you and I talked about it. I think, on 24. I mean, on the fourth ride.
Yeah.
But he looked over, and I saw that as soon as he looked over, and everybody's off to the right. He looked over, and he had an open area, and he was not allowing anybody to get on his wheel, and he shot across that. And the straight-on view to me is like the coolest thing. He used to race like that all the time. You just see him just like pop out, and Jasper Philipsen tried to get on his wheel, and he couldn't because he was just at full gas. He was going the rest of the way.
Jasper seemed like he deviated from his line because he was cutting across everybody's wheels so close. Whereas
that's where Mads
I
went
think
down.
that caused Mads crash.
yes,
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
But like Mark was not the problem because he is so fast. He's like, that's my gap, and he is gone.
Yeah.
No, he
Whereas Jasper's like, I'm going to follow his wheel, and I don't care who's behind me. Let's chop.
That's kind of how he is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
is.
Jasper is.
Like he did it to Wout a couple of stages back, and he did it to Gamai in intermediate
Yep.
today.
Today.
Yeah. He
No-
needs to.
no
He
punish-
looked
that,
over his
that
shoulder.
card
I don't
roll,
think
Yeah.
he purposely did it. He
Yeah.
looked over his shoulder and said,
Yeah.
He needs to be relegated from the tour.
He has been. He has been relegated.
In
He
a
has
stage,
been
yeah.
sent to the
Yeah.
last finisher,
Yep.
but he has not yet been like thrown out.
I know. I'm saying he needs to, so far this season, already be thrown
Has he
out.
become a bad guy
Yes.
in our minds? Why? Because of Unchained?
Oh, that adds to it. But I hated him last season before Unchained came out.
Did you?
I think that he's kind of like repeatedly showing that he probably doesn't really give a shit about anybody else,
Yes.
which is a little bit worrying in a sport where it can mean a lot. We saw what Dylan Groenewegen did to
Yeah.
Fabio
Yeah.
Jakobsen.
Good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Very good point.
And we see how far it can go. Mads got out pretty lucky in that situation, but he's just a serial offender, and it's kind of beginning to be a little bit annoying now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Since we're talking to sprinters, can we talk about the glasses? Groenewegen's glasses. Jackson,
Where's
you're-
the use-
now this isn't a part of your segment, is it?
No.
Okay. Can I have your personal, just blunt take on Dylan Groenewegen's glasses?
Yeah. Oakley's are better.
Well, yeah. They are like an aftermarket product that you clip onto them, and they're really ugly.
They're insanely expensive.
Yeah.
Wait,
300
is it an
bucks.
aftermarket?
It's,
Yep.
No, it
Oh.
comes with the glasses.
I've
No.
heard that you clip it on.
Oh, you
Yep.
do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
It's
but it's a
3D printed, and it costs $300 for that piece.
Yeah. Just the nose piece.
And if you squeeze it, it goes.
But you know why he's so bitter? Because what's the tag name for that?
Oh, it's Batman.
They're calling him Batman, and you want to.
You want to start shit?
Every single of my F words right now if I want to talk
You've
about
blown
Batman.
way
He is
past
not
those.
Batman. He is not Batman.
I will say
I am Batman.
I'm Batman.
I will say if you want a nose covering, there's another brand that already did it.
Way
Way
before.
better.
And way better.
Yeah.
But it's I thought it was like, whoa, he got some serious melanoma issues that he's worried about. And with that, I'm like 100% behind it. You know, like my friend David Stanley wrote a book about, melanoma and things like that. And I mean, this is serious shit that cyclists deal with. But when it's just for aerodynamic purposes, just
I don't know
stop.
if your nose makes that
I know.
Yeah.
much of a difference. Plus, he's kind of pretty aerodynamic one himself. So
Yeah.
Well, here's where I have a problem with the UCI. So, a French rider in the TT riding for Lidl Trek, going up the hill, stop. They fined him for
Kissing his
it was-
wife.
Yeah, well, yeah, and
Yeah.
the
What?
rule reads,
Yeah.
the rule
Unbecoming.
reads it's a bad reflection on the tour. To me, that's a good reflection.
One
That
of the
freaking
most-
nose piece
Yeah.
is a bad
Yeah.
bad representation of the So and
What?
the goofy TT helmets, those should
Oh,
He
For that
got
sake.
fined
he
for
did.
that?
He
Yes,
did.
Yeah.
200 francs.
One of the most
Swiss francs.
Swiss francs.
Swiss francs. One of the most
Oh,
one of the
that's
most
not real money.
picturesque, beautiful moments of the race.
Yeah.
Made it to the cover of so many websites and things like that, and they find him.
and he
it's
still
in the-
looks
in that
like he was
rule.
up there.
Yeah.
In that rule, it says, for public urination, they're throwing in public urination or anything that's
So kissing your
disgraceful.
wife is similar to
That's
public urination.
the rule that they quoted, but it's just
Well,
not,
next time he's
there's
just got to
more
pull
into-
over and get kinky with it.
Yeah, there's more into that rule than just public urination, but there's other things that that bring.
So when
That's
a rider's
disappointing.
taking a nature break, are they getting fined?
I don't think they are, but it's like the start and finish where there's masses.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they can be fined if
'Cause
there's
it's
people nearby.
Interesting. Okay, because it's always public.
Bob Roll in 1987
Literally.
had to have some
yeah.
picnickers to give them some of his paper towels
And
because
that
he had.
is on video.
Yes, it is.
You showed me that
Yeah.
clip, and it is on stock footage. We got to find that link. You can find it on YouTube where there is a clip of that CBS it was shooting, and Bob is squatting down, and he
Jeff
reaches
Bradley.
over and he grabs something, and Jeff Bradley, and Bob reaches over and grabs something and wipes his ass.
And they
it
cut
is-
away and
it
they come back
exists.
and you see the pile of paper where he was
Yeah.
squatting.
Where he was,
And I think the people on the editing crew didn't catch what happened.
before
so-
HD, so
But it
you're
was-
not like going to see
heard
that he
Bob-
had corn or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's
Is
right.
it illegal to pee in USAC?
No,
Is it?
it can't be. Well,
I
it might
did
be.
it in
Yeah.
the RC3 right in front of the official.
I had a coach who could not
on the bike.
finish
yeah.
a race.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I had a coach who couldn't finish a race. He had to pee like 4 times a race.
Dude, 90 miles, like RC3, how are you supposed to do that without peeing?
Yeah,
Yeah, how are you supposed
Don't
to
drink.
peeing?
Don't drink water like
That's
us.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you did it.
No, I didn't. I never pee.
You
See?
no, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You
just-
made it. You
Yeah, I
didn't-
made it, and I didn't even need to
Did
worry
you
about
pee?
it.
I didn't pee in that one, but I had to. And the reason I didn't is because I didn't drink enough
This
water.
is getting away from us. I'm sorry, Pat.
If you were a betting man or woman, how would you predict the overall on the next rest day, 1 week from yesterday? How
What I-
would you
what I
predict?
said.
I don't think it's going to look that much different. I think
Will there be a switch?
I think
Remco might switch down a little bit. I kind of think that some of the UAE teammates are going to move up, honestly. But I still see Tadej in yellow.
Do you?
Just with the form he's showing, it's honestly like we talk about a tube of toothpaste. It's kind of more like a gallon jug right now.
Yeah. Anybody disagree?
no.
Okay. There we go. Any reflections on your tour picks? I haven't done any points. I have not added a single point this entire time, and I don't want to because I want to live in denial.
I'm hoping in 3 weeks it does better than it has been.
All of us
So,
picked Tadej.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's negated. Completely negated.
Yeah. I chose partly with Nielsen balance, but I don't regret it. But I
I-
did choose well with Tom Pitcock.
I
Yeah,
got
you got a second.
I know.
Michael
He'll be up
Matthews.
there.
Michael isn't going to do shit.
No,
when
you'll be
Groenewegen
wearing
runs.
white chamois for sure in public.
I'm interested to see. I want a little out of Mate Mohoric and Arnaud Delis.
Yeah. Same.
I think Arnaud Delis is due for a first. I hope he can get a first. I don't think he will.
I don't even. He wasn't even in the top 10 today.
No.
It's
I
because
don't
he
know what
keeps
happened.
trying to find lines that don't exist.
Yeah.
Trying to shoot gaps.
Yeah.
It's not there, buddy.
No.
Yeah.
I think barring Victorious in general are just waiting.
What grade would you give this this tour so far?
100%. It's living up to all my expectations.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else beyond that down a grade or anything like that?
I can't imagine it being any better. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
100%.
it could be worse without a doubt.
It could.
No.
And with your coverage choice, how does that affect anything? I don't know. You know what?
30%.
I talked about this earlier. You know that NBC Peacock is taking this as if it is an American broadcast where they have to educate their viewers.
Yeah.
But Peacock is a pay service, more or less, isn't it? I mean, I think
Do you pay for it?
so. It's
It was part of my Comcast deal.
in essence, you're going to the back of the library to get this book, as a metaphor. And so, I'm opening the book. Don't talk down to me. And I think that's the problem right now. I don't think it's the personnel. They've got incredibly talented people on the staff of that race. And I think what they're doing, however, is they're talking down to us. They're trying to present it to us as if it's a fucking football program. And stop.
Do you
Just
think it's
stop.
worse this year than last year?
Yeah.
I wonder
Yeah.
if Unchained, the idea that Unchained's bringing, I would be
American
interested
viewers,
to see,
yeah.
more, and you're going to have to re-educate them. Because if you just watch Unchained, you don't really grasp what things are going on. You just catch the story on the background. So
I have turned a lot of people onto the tour this year from the clinic, right? And I talk about start with Unchained. They start there, and every single person has come back and said, Peacock sucks.
Do you guys think?
I'm like, I agree.
Do you guys think Bob and Phil don't like each other?
Yes.
I don't really think that they know they're in the same room.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Well,
I'm getting the rub that Phil is more interested in TJ Van Garderen than he is in Bob.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a huge crime because I think Bob, if you let Bob go, if you let him talk about the shit he's been through, quite literally, or the shit that's been through him, you'd have hilarious anecdotes going on through some of these slow mo. More than Nico Roche talking about a menu, you could have Bob talking about these classic stories of the 80s and 90s.
So are you agreeing with me that Phil needs to go?
No.
Because last time I got lectured.
I'm not going to say that Phil needs to go. Phil is a legend. Phil is. And Phil still has some of his
nothing
wherewithal.
to contribute.
but isn't there something to be said about
a play-by-play person doesn't contribute. A play-by-play person sometimes just provides.
Isn't there something to be said though about going out when you're at the top of your game?
Yeah, we're not talking about American politics, Jackson.
No, I'm not. I'm talking.
That was good.
Yeah.
Paul's doing the impression.
Yeah. Brady won his last ring, had another season, was like, screw this.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're
Lance.
right.
So, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I think some of it, so many years, Paul Sherwin and Phil Liggett did so well together.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think they've ever. Phil's had somebody to bounce off of.
Magic,
They knew each other, so they used to ride together. They did everything. Their family. I mean, their wives did things together. I mean, everything. So,
and you guys, I will go out on a limb and say I'm the only person who's going to say this as part of the show. It's my name on the masthead here, but with Lance's podcast being on Peacock, with all the shit he's doing right now, I would implore the world to stop giving this a man a platform. This guy's a dick. He fucked over our sports for so long, and he's coming back, and he will be on that broadcast within the next year or two.
I agree with you.
And I don't want to see him. I respect what he did. He raced in a time of doping where doping was high.
Go away.
But you know what? He hasn't paid the punishment for his crimes, and we're still giving him a fucking platform.
You know what's crazy though is
Sorry,
that, like,
there. Whoa.
But like
Where am I?
like Alberto Contador was on GCN or whatever else. Like
Yeah.
that dude was also super doped
Yeah.
up to the gills.
Don't think he was ever really that
He
good.
wasn't as
He was never. No, I'm saying he was never good at the broadcast.
No, absolutely.
I think he was
Absolutely.
pretty
I'm just saying
bad the
that
whole
he-
time.
Absolutely. But he was given a voice, and it's like, God, you have this like previous doper on
Yeah.
your podcast.
Oh no, I agree.
Or on your stream, right? And it's just like one of those things. I'm like, get rid of these people.
Please.
well,
don't
I
bring
tell
him
you,
in.
I tell you
Please
what.
don't bring
If
him
you're
in.
looking for broadcasters in cycling that can contribute to the commentary that are clean racers, you're not going to find anybody. not past racers.
Yeah, and that's
from
my.
that time
And you know
period.
what my thing is?
And
I
to
understand
me,
that,
it's like-
he doped.
was a bully.
Lance
Yeah.
doped.
He was a bully.
It's a bully thing.
The way
That's
he
the
went
problem.
about it is
Yeah.
just so horrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, we talked about this
Yeah.
for everyone for so long, and so and by the way,
Can I add something to the
please
broadcast?
do.
To me, this is what I'm hoping. GCN has opened up there where you pay and you're going to get. I'm hoping that if they get enough money, they will be able to get rights, because that was the best format. We had GCN with Eurosport.
Yeah.
If
Couldn't
they
agree
could
more.
get to that, that's great. I watch Flow Bikes, and it is, even though Nicholas Roach is a great, and in what's
Yeah.
the other commentators?
That's Ant
Anthony,
McCrossan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're good, but it's still not what we're used to, and I'm spoiled.
We did get
GCN
spoiled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got really spoiled. I miss the breakaway. I don't get the breakaway on that show. I like hearing Daniel Lloyd, and I like to hear
Adam
Rob
Blythe.
McEwen.
Rob
Yeah,
McEwen.
Rob McEwen. All those, even Matt Stevens every
Yeah.
once in a while. that's where
That's the
bread
Eurosport
butter.
feed, and HBO has that. Max has
Yeah,
that.
but not
But
for
the
the
problem
tour.
is for the tour, it's blacked out.
Peacock.
Yeah, it's blacked out
Mhm.
here in the
For the
States, so
US.
you can't get it.
So go
Or your flow
GCN
bikes.
Plus.
And the flow bike screen pops up, and it's still a live shot of what's happening in the race. So if you're like me and you sleep in for half an hour, you have to say, honey, could you come in here and rewind this broadcast? Because I can't open my eyes. It's just,
I have a strategy for you.
what's that?
Do it on
Wake
your
up
iPad.
earlier.
No. Do it
Get
on
up early.
yeah. Do it on your iPad.
Yeah.
Click on the screen. Don't turn the volume on yet. Put your hand over the coverage. Click the thing, and then
That's what I do.
Wind it. Yeah.
That is what I'm doing.
Okay, good.
And then, by the way, but then I send it to the TV,
Uh-huh.
and it resets.
That's really weird.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
that doesn't happen to me.
It's just Flow Bikes doesn't like me.
Yeah.
And I get it. I've been mean. Can't do the crime. I mean, don't do the time. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Wow, that hurt. That hurt a lot. But by the way, in other parts of the cycling world, I do want to mention, and speaking of Max, they are covering the Women's Giro d'Italia, which is underway, and Lisa Longoborghini is leading a lot of Kopecky. And they had a massive climb today. I haven't watched today's stage yet because I've been watching them at night. The Women's Giro d'Italia. It's actually, and I don't mean to sound surprised. It's brilliant racing, and it's really good. Yesterday's
That's on
stage,
Max?
yeah, it is on Max, and it's great coverage. Again, shadowed by the biggest event in the sport. I think we talked about this in years past. I don't want to ever belittle one over the other, but I just wish they could. I don't know why. They shouldn't black out the women's calendar while this race is happening. But if you're having one of the largest stage races of the women's calendar, it's a weird time to do it, in my personal opinion. Man,
It should be right after they finish the Giro for the men. If they're going to, it should be immediately after.
After the tour, you mean? Yeah.
No, after
After
the
the
Giro.
Giro.
Oh,
There's been a couple
Women's
weeks.
Giro.
Men's Giro,
Yeah.
Women's
Yeah.
Giro.
Men's
Kind of
Giro,
like we do
Women's
with
Giro. Yeah.
Tour de France.
Exactly. Exactly.
Avec
And
Zwift.
same with the Vuelta.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway.
That's not a bad idea. Anybody else on the Tour de France we want to wrap up? David staring at his phone, flexing the guns.
That's my fingernails.
Oh, I thought you were looking
I
at
was
your
looking,
guns.
I was looking at my fingernails.
You're calling him out just like a teacher.
Yeah.
You are. You did look like you were looking at your phone as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a kid?
I mean, as a high school student.
Oh,
under
yeah.
the desk.
Yeah, under the
Well,
desk.
my hand, one hand, yeah. I get that a lot.
Get that a lot.
Okay. Should we get into our segments? Where are our segment sound effects? Where are they? Packfiller bumper. We will do that. Segments tonight brought to us by help from our friends at Muck Off. Keep your bike in tip-top order with a multitude of brilliant maintenance cleaning products from Muck Off. If you know, you know, and if you don't, your bike is dirty. Use the link at Packfiller. Sam's looking at his phone, though. Let them know we sent you. So, funny thing is, I'm almost rewarding your behavior by giving you the first throw tonight. Fit tips with Bike Fit Sam and Ambassador Cycling. Check them out at ambassadorcycling.com. I have last week's copy here in front of me. Shit. We were talking about, but we were going to talk about knees, dealing with knee problems and climbing, interior knee issues and climbing. Talk to me, Goose. What is that about, man?
Talk to me, Goose. Yeah. So it depends on your positioning on the bike. There's every spot on the knee. The knee is a great thing for diagnosing basically bike fit. If you have anterior knee pain, there could be a few things. It's overactivation of the quads, so it's pulling your patella closer to your femur. And so what we would do for that is probably raise you up a little bit, move you a little bit forward, if you're going to be, which is kind of ass backwards for a few things.
Yeah, sounds weird.
Yeah. But because of how you rotate when you start going up a hill, usually it's because you're probably sinking too far back in the saddle. You're getting a little bit too much quad activation. And so we would raise you up, move you forward. It's going to keep your knee flexion the same, and it's going to solve the anterior knee pain. So that's anterior specifically. Posterior is probably overextension will lower the saddle.
Sure.
Yeah.
I have found again, I always make it about me. I have found recently that I'm getting more climbing power by shifting back on my saddle.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that, because I'm getting more power that way, would I adjust my saddle accordingly, or would I just shift back when I get to a climb kind of thing?
So if you're set up properly on your bike, you're able to go into what we would call a posterior pelvic tilt, and that does grab a little bit more of your quad, and then explosive glutes activation. So that does help with all of that. But if you are too far back, so if your saddle is too far back, then it's going to add too much quad activation, and that's where you're going to get pain. So if you're not having pain with it, then I would say grip it and rip it. That's the ideal position. That's where I would set you up.
Okay.
I have set you up there.
Explosive glutes. I think
Explosive
that's either a
glutes.
good band name or something
Not
that I would like on the
not
back of a T-shirt.
explosive poop shoot.
You know what? Explosive glutes would be a great tramp stamp.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm thinking of doing it this week.
A tramp stamp?
No, I'm thinking of tattooing this week.
Wow.
What did you decide on? Design?
Stay tuned. It's my birthday this week, for everybody who doesn't know. And I'm thinking of the heart rate and then the bike, the EKG and then the bike in the middle, just around.
Get
me.
a tombstone on that.
Yeah,
Or do
right at
an
the end.
AFib. Do an AFib.
Is this
Just
like
one? Can you give me one little hiccup in there, buddy?
Yeah.
Just like it's this beautiful thing, and then all of a sudden,
I'll draw
is
it for
our
you.
is our bike ride
that'd be
gonna
the perfect
end
inside
there?
joke.
Yeah.
What?
Is our bike ride gonna end there so we can just go straight into this? I want to see this done.
They tell you to eat within the 4 hours before.
Hey, can I swim with a tattoo?
No, they suggest 2 weeks.
I'm not doing it then.
Well, I
just put some.
you can keep your shoulder
some
above water.
It's a suggestion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah,
And all
keep
you
your
do
It's a
arms-
suggestion. Thanks, Doc.
Just put some Tegaderm over it.
Yeah.
I have a whole email right now consisting of what you should and shouldn't do with it. So
Yeah, you
that's
just
why
got
I'm
one.
freshly versed. Yeah,
You
just
just
got one
got
on
one.
my arm for my anniversary with
Yeah.
my wife.
Which is adorable.
It's adorbs.
By the way, a year ago this Saturday, we were in
Partying.
a very
Yeah.
hot space
And drinking
with Jackson's
Lantons.
wedding. Yeah. Thanks, Sam, by the way. Oh, God. Do we go straight to David and his fucking theme? He
Whatever
thinks
you
he's so
want.
good.
Yeah, you think you're so good.
I didn't ask for this.
Hey, you know what? I do want to mention before we get into this that our good man Lance, who has been putting together all this great audio for us, is dealing with some health issues. And I just want to throw that out there and say, please, man, speedy recovery to you. Get better, and the theme can wait, dude. He sent me a pretty long email the other day saying, I'm so sorry, and dude. Self-care. Speaking of which,
It's not my fault that I got the best one. I just show up and drink beer.
you do.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Lance nailed it.
And he's tanked out.
Yeah.
I'm never going to let that go, man. This is just, I cannot drink enough to wash this image out of my
Well,
nothing
get
wrong with
used to it, because if it's this hot next week, I'm wearing the same tank, not taking it off.
Wearing
Actually, I have
at least it's on.
I have one other tank top I might wear.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have
and there's
two.
only one opinion that matters about how it looks.
Your
Yeah,
wife's.
it's-
I'm
Exactly.
just Gus's.
Gus.
You guess.
Gus
Yeah.
and
I'm
my
just
wife.
glad you're not sporting the 4-pack at the bar. So this is good. So, David, we wanted to ask about.
Rolls.
Oh.
No, I'm joking. You did 180 miles or 120 miles. Oh my God, I'm the one who. Never mind. I wanted to ask you, and this is the time of year, and
Yeah.
when we were talking about it earlier at the opening of the show, we could have just kind of jumped into it right there. But heat-related illnesses and heat-related issues are something to be obviously taken incredibly serious. But there are stages where, let's say you're out on a 120-mile ride and you're starting to feel things. My bikepacking hell, last year, I came home from that trip, and it was very similar to as it is now. And I got to the point where I had goosebumps. I was actually getting cold, but I was, I knew that my body was hot. I didn't stop sweating, but I know that there are phases like that. So
Mm-hmm.
talk to me about the stages of heat-related illnesses and what people should maybe look out for.
Yeah, it's a spectrum when you are overheating of things that you can go through. So, two of the less lethal or less harmful things that can happen. One is heat syncope, where you just pass out because when you're hot and it's really hot outside and you're not drinking and you're sweating, your blood vessels will vasodilate. They'll get bigger. The blood will go to the periphery and the tissues. You're sweating, so you don't have a lot of plasma or blood volume, and then you pass out.
Wow.
And it's a protective mechanism. It's not dangerous, but if you do that, you definitely shouldn't keep riding. Hopefully you don't pass out on the bike. It's usually, honestly, that one usually follows a bike ride. It's like you did a hard bike ride, you go sit on the couch, you get up and pass out.
Or 40 ounces of beer at Benedito's.
Or you do a hard bike ride, you go to Benedito's, drink 40 ounces and pass out. Yeah. Hard to know if that was the beer,
beer
though,
or
or
Never happened.
there's heat cramps I'm sure most people have experienced. That's just, it has to do with electrolyte imbalances with fluid intake and all that. There's no perfect formula to prevent that. And again, not terribly harmful. Where we start getting into the more harmful things, there's heat exhaustion and then there's heat stroke. Those are kind of two terms that we'll use. Heat exhaustion is where you're not maintaining your body temperature. It's starting to rise, but you haven't lost your heat losing mechanisms. So sweating, breathing fast, those sorts of things, those are things that help offload heat from your body.
Okay.
Evaporative cooling, that kind of a thing. And you will feel like fatigued. You might get a headache. You're going to be sweating maybe more than you'd expect. That's probably, if you can identify that you're overheating before you get to the heat stroke phase, that would be very ideal. You should just stop. You should drink cold fluids, maybe get in an ice bath, whatever you can do to get your body temperature down. And then there's this, in medicine, we have like a cutoff of 40 degrees Celsius for body temperature. When you get over that, when your body temperature rises above 40, and because of exercise
Centigrade,
or heat,
that's over 100.
Okay. Okay.
yeah, centigrade.
Huh?
That's kind of where we started thinking about heat stroke. Heat stroke is where you have not only lost your ability to thermoregulate, but you've also now lost your mechanisms. So this is where you stop sweating, like you alluded to.
Sure.
This is where you're going to stop sweating. You're probably going to pass out. You'll be, you're not going to be hyperventilating anymore as you should. And this is definitely an emergency. You can progress to kidney injuries, liver injuries. This can get really serious really fast. You have to be treated in a hospital with, they'll put cooled fluids through your IV. They'll put you in an ice bath, that sort of thing. So you really want to identify it early. If you're feeling poor, if you're, feeling like you're sweating too much, you just got to drink. You got to stop, listen to your body, especially when it's 105 out.
Yeah.
It's not worth it to keep training through that kind of thing. Just to, end up in an ER. We had a friend 2 years ago who just fell over on the side of the road because he was training through the heat. It's not funny, but if you knew this guy, you would know that he would push through. And that's that's the scary thing about cyclists, is that we will push through.
Yeah.
It's
making me stronger.
Yeah. I'm gonna work through this because we read about heat training, which is a topic for another day. But there's significant benefits to heat training. He ended up in the ER with a kidney injury, severe dehydration, and an overnight hospital stay because of it. So
That's expensive.
yeah,
It's an expensive bike ride.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, that was a good one, especially this time of year.
Yeah.
This time of year. Jackson, you need to go next, my friend. Jackson gets to go with his next in his ever expanding series of style points.
Jackson's bumper is pretty friggin' sick.
It is pretty sick.
It
I'm
is,
just saying, you
but
guys
also
give me
his
grief.
freaking style.
Yeah.
Style points.
I don't know. We might have to change this title. Do
you want it?
Well, I don't know. We'll have to figure it out.
Okay.
Because there's just so many things that I have in my mind that I want to talk about, but aren't necessarily style. I feel like it's kind of been veering away lately, which I'm fine with.
Culture.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I'm. Anyways, So this week I wanted to talk about like good luck charms, wearable good luck charms, stuff that we like bring with us, even like little things that we do, and if we have them. So I do. I got thinking about this because I got my wife and I got a 1-year tattoo for our wedding anniversary, because in our vows she said that I am the sun to her moon. So I got a moon, a crescent moon, like the one I always wear on my neck as well. Wherever the hell that is. It's here somewhere. There it is.
Dude.
Yeah, I know. And so
I didn't know what that all meant.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So she always loves the moon and I always love the sun. And so that's like, I consider like my necklace, I have to have that on, or else it's something that I can tell that I'm not wearing. I mean, obviously my wedding ring. But like, I also have these bracelets. I have one that is the evil eye. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of like wards away like bad energy, like things like that. And in my mind, I'm like, this just keeps away all like the negative stuff. I don't need that. And then the other one I have is from my our honeymoon when we went to Ocean Shores in San Diego. We each got a bracelet, and so this is one that is like very like wax treated and everything. You can go in water and all that stuff. And so I have to have these things on, or else I don't feel like myself.
Yeah.
Do you guys have them?
I need to get my shit together.
I'm jaded as fuck.
Well, I was just
Really?
I was going to make a slight joke that his marriage is sun and the moon, and I honestly, if you follow me, anybody
and
on
angel.
if
You're the
anybody
devil.
if anybody follows me on social media, you'll know that my personal accounts are "Shut Up, Pat." Mm-hmm. That's a phrase coined by my wife. Mm-hmm. We always said no, and I wish I was joking. It's serious. My wife has always looked at me and gone, "Shut up, Pat."
Why don't you get
But
that as a tattoo?
It's adorable.
Yeah, that should
I
honestly
should.
be the
Yeah.
I
tattoo.
really should.
That's timeless.
Yeah, that's time.
That is timeless.
Well, especially when I finally do.
Yeah.
I always said it was going to be on my headstone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put
But
it
you
on.
finally got your wish.
Yeah. But I don't know if I. God.
So I don't have like items that I have to have, but I have very particular
Set of skills.
set of skills.
It could
set
be
of things-
rituals.
yeah, or things that I need to feel good on a ride, and it varies from activity, and it has to do with equipment. So if I don't have, like the other day, I had left my helmet in my parents' car. I have 3 other helmets at the house, but I don't want to wear those helmets for a road ride, and I had to, and I didn't have my right sunglasses, and those sorts of things. Like I have the shoes, the helmet, the sunglasses. You have to have, I have to have my Garmin, I have to have, or my Wahoo, I have to have my radar light. Like I need all of those things to feel like I'm ready for a ride. The right socks is another thing, to be fair. Like, I mean, if I don't have the right socks, I don't feel right. So it all has to do with the equipment for me when it comes to riding. Like, and it's kind of sad because you don't need all of those things, but I don't feel good if I don't have the right equipment for the specific activity. Because what I wear for a road ride versus a gravel ride versus a mountain bike ride, all very different. And I need specific things for each. So.
That just makes you a diva.
Yeah, very much.
I'm the
so.
same. I mean, I've definitely bailed out on rides just because I don't have the right stuff.
I lost my sunglasses. I can't come.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. But I used to have this like ring that came from my grandpa, and that was passed down like way down through the family. It was a stone from like like a river that the family originally settled on down outside it. I lost it.
Oh,
It was
bastard.
I would like to say I didn't lose it. It was stolen from me.
Right.
And
Yeah, most I get a
With
lot of
my
high school
car.
students who tell me, "Hey, somebody stole my notebook."
Somebody
no,
broke
nobody stole your notebook.
Somebody stole my
you
homework.
lost it, you stupid shit.
Yeah, somebody broke into my car
Yeah.
after a bike race and I took
Really?
it. And I went to every pawn shop. So after that, it just I was like, I'm done with sentimental stuff.
Really?
That
That's
broke.
too bad.
Yeah,
man.
it did because I don't have like any other things that I'm sentimental about. That was the one thing. So I can't really relate, but I can like I'm the same as him in that like I have to have my stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul, you're tatted up. You got some.
Yeah, but those
mementos
are
about you,
not-
but not
not-
necessarily good luck. But yeah.
No, and in fact, I'm almost the polar opposite. To me, it's like I don't want any of that on me. The only sport that I played that I was superstitious was baseball because it is a sport of superstition.
part of the
You
game.
don't step on the baseline. There's traditions. You had like all of us on the team put your right sock on and your right shoe on, and then you did your left. I mean, that's just a tradition.
It's
but
crazy.
for me, it's like I didn't want, because then you start thinking, all right, this is supposed to be for good luck, and I crashed, so this is trash. I gotta find, then it becomes this chasing. That was my thought.
Wow.
So
Now-
I'm like nothing.
Something came to me that, and it isn't an object, and it isn't something I carry with me, but it is, I cannot leave for a ride from this house unless I tell my wife that I'm leaving, and she turns and looks at me. She says, "Okay, I love you. Be safe. Goodbye."
Mm-hmm.
Those three things she has
Say
to
it,
say.
Michelle.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
She works from home, so she will be on an office call, and I will miss the time of a ride. I will stand in her office leaning against the doorway until she says it, and she would be pissed if I left before she said it.
You
We
said
both
I
agree.
love you goodbye, but not be safe. I'm
Yes.
going to stand here until you say it.
Yes.
Say it, Michelle.
I'm serious. You guys, it is
I
legit.
believe it.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
good.
like, yeah.
That's a cool thing.
I'm thinking if I leave and she hasn't said it,
You'll die.
I'm gonna bounce off the hood of a car.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think they're interesting because
Yeah.
I have noticed lately I have kind of like collected them in a way a little bit. But they all have like great sentimental value, and
Yeah.
I love them. So,
It's not the chapstick anymore. I remember that used to be your thing.
well, you'd think so, but
How
it's
many
still in my
laps of
pocket.
chapstick would you do?
But it's not. I don't
Is it
necessarily need the. Well, it's one. But I don't need the chapstick in my pocket anymore. I think that was just
As
a
he
stupid
reaches
thing.
for the chapstick.
Well,
in
I
his
was saying it's
pocket.
still-
Crescent Moon has replaced that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right, last but not least, Paul Main with his changing times. And I'm going to tweak this one because I think it should go from this into like techno.
I guess that's kind of fitting for my topic, really.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of works because
Sorry, I
I'm
got
known
a
as the
little out of control
curmudgeon, the one that won't give up rim brakes and
Yeah.
all that type of thing. And I was sitting there thinking, because I'm as my bike's getting older and it's making creaking noises and complains.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and it's like, at a certain point, I got to give up the game. And you have to face the fact. I really don't think my bike is holding me back from speed and everything, but I have no choice mechanically to get equipment that works. And you just have to face the fact there's things have changed. And I do not want to go back to, I love my steel bike, and I rode steel, and I poo-pooed carbon frames until they finally got it right. I mean, the early carbons were crap. They were cracked. People would like tip over, and one guy's bike blew over in the wind, and his top tube got a big, huge crack across it. I'm like, that shouldn't happen. I don't want to ride a bike that does that. But now that I see, like, I'm surprised some of these guys that get up out of the ditch and they're able to hop on their bike or just put the chain on and get back and race. That doesn't happen. But don't look at have you seen Vlasov's frame?
Did you
No,
see
I just saw his
It was-
crash.
Cut. I mean, the top tube.
And
down
by
tube
the
is
way,
busted up. But
The concussion protocol people
yeah, they missed that one.
don't exist in the tour. No, this tour, pro cycling needs to seriously pull their heads out of their ass when it comes to concussion protocol. They claim he was wobbling because of a broken ankle. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
He had a concussion. He
Yeah.
was
Cross-eyed.
bacon. He was gone. But anyway, sorry.
So, the thing is I talked to another guy. We're talking about doing time trials and stuff, and he goes, I can't afford it. I mean, we're in our 60s. So for me to buy a new bike, equivalent, it's going to be $10,000. Now, my TT bike is outdated.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I only use it like twice a year. The thing is, it's just, I think we unfortunately complain about the prices. I have no option to do is just spend my money on one road bike.
Yeah.
Not a gravel bike, not anything else. That's where I like to enjoy and do my riding. And I just find it, it's unfortunate because I think things have gone crazy, but I have to also bite the bullet that someday my old bikes are just, it's just not going to be worth trying to scab things on. And that's just a simple fact.
This feels like
but
a big moment.
I will
Are
say-
you buying a disc brake bike?
Yeah,
He'd have to.
Yeah.
He has to.
But
you don't
I
have
will
any
say,
choice.
you're talking about buying a bike of equivalent tier, because when you bought yours, it was at the top tier, and the top tier bike nowadays is $10,000. But to get an upgrade in terms of performance from your current bike, you wouldn't have to spend that much.
Not with
You know
disc
what
brakes. He can't
Yeah,
just
but SRAM
magically
red
convert it over to
SRAM
disc
red.
brakes.
No, I'm just saying that, like, if you buy, because yes, you have SRAM Red, but from 10 years ago, right?
Well, some of his pieces have been changed, so it's 11 speed. So I think it's from 2018.
I'm just saying that what you had in terms of performance, what you had back then, is probably equivalent to you don't have to buy a $10,000 bike to get the same
I get what you're
performance,
saying.
right? You would only need to buy like the mid level to get the same or better performance than what you got from a bike 10 years ago.
Yeah. So what I look into
I
that
get that.
is looking at, and I'm not a weight weenie, but I know the difference between coming off a 19.5 pound steel bike and riding a 15-pound carbon bike. My times up hills were tremendous, and it was.
Yeah.
And I'm getting older, so what I'm sacrificing if I go for the $7,000, let's say time, or it's an $8,000 time force, as opposed to something that shaves, the red version of that. There's $3,000 difference.
Yeah.
I'm gearing towards what. That's more important, the weight for me to go uphill, because that's my weakness. That's what I need to focus on. I don't care about aero. I don't worry about aero.
Because you're so aero.
Well, I mean, that's just how I naturally just developed everything, from when we were in the non-aero days. So it's one of those things. I will have to bite the bullet. And how do I go about that? Do I buy a frame, buy pieces here and there when they go on sale?
Yeah.
And things, unfortunately, change so drastically. It's not like, red is already on the second generation of electric.
Yeah.
And you can get a great discount on the 12, but, I have to say SRAM's done a really good job of making their new compatible with their old.
Mm-hmm.
So it's unfortunate, but I know I have to bite the bullet and say goodbye to rim brakes and the 15-pound bike. So
And
is a big moment.
by the way,
This is a big moment.
and by the way, Mr. Tiny Tommy Tank over there,
Mr. Tiny.
how dare you? This man has been riding. He was racing bikes when your idea of a good time was not on your fudgesicle and watching cartoons.
You show some respect.
was even a
How
twinkle.
dare
you?
dare he buy something subgrade, something next tier
Yeah.
down? You could get away with a good aluminum bike.
That's not what I'm saying.
No.
I ride Force.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
There's one person in this room that rides red, and he's talking. It's his segment right now. I ride Ultegra. You ride Ultegra. Sam rides Ultegra.
I ride
David
Force.
rides Force.
Yeah, I don't buy the
There's
red
nothing
'cause
wrong
it's-
with that. It's
But
the
you know
same tier
what?
frame. It's just
He's a
I'd
boozy
go
ass
full red
bitch.
if I could. I'd go full red if I
I
could.
would too, if I were
wouldn't
you.
admit it.
well, and there's
next
other
bike
things.
will be
It's
red.
you look at it.
We knew it. So he's full of shit. This is what
I'm
he
just
said.
arguing to argue, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I have another tank joke, but I'm not going to do it. No, I agree with you, Paul. I mean, that's comes the time, and I brought this up at we had a meeting of our regional district last night online, and I brought up the fact that you and I have been talking about making the district time trial Mercs. And they read it as, we should add a Mercs category. And I was like, okay. I
that's a
guess
start,
that's a
I
good
guess.
start, because
Yeah.
I would love to see how quickly the Mercs category filled up. Because we're at this point in time where a $10,000 bike for your road bike, your primary race bike, and then I have a gravel bike. My gravel bike was $4,000. I have a mountain bike. My mountain bike I just bought was $6,000.
Yeah, I was just
then-
trying to buy a bike for my wife, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Man, can we make this like $2,600, like sub $3,000?"
They laughed you out of the shop or something like that.
It is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
And so a time trial bike on top of that, a bike that you're using
Twice,
3 to 5 times a year,
maybe.
unless you're a triathlete.
Mhm.
It just becomes ridiculous. And then all of a sudden we're wondering why our time trial districts in the middle of our state is not getting the people that it needs to get. Well, let's look at the writing on the wall here.
I would go if it was Merck's. I'm not going to go.
I probably
pay for
would
that.
too. It's a couple hours away for us, although it's on my birthday.
Yeah.
None of you assholes are going.
Yeah.
You're not going, Paul?
No.
Yeah. And then I
No,
don't want to
your
get
birthday.
into the fact. I don't want to get into the fact that they say that you need 10 riders in order to have a state championship or a district championship. I think that's
Do
bad.
they do that
I
with
think
the
that hurts
women?
sport.
Because most of the women.
I doubt
don't
it.
have it.
I doubt they do. I don't know.
They said
I
it
don't
for
know the answer to
everything.
that one. I have a problem with that one, and I think buy the jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
Give the jerseys. Give the jerseys. You see somebody who won a state championship jersey this year, even though there are only 3 people in the kit, they ride with their friends. Their friends might show up next year.
Mm-hmm.
We build the sport. I'm sorry. It takes money to make money.
Yep.
All right. So thank you, guys. We hit the end of yet another show, but we have to finish with, of course, the final K. The final question. It has nothing to do with bike racing. It has nothing to do with cycling. Gentlemen, how would you rate your grilling skill? What's your grill skill? How well do you cook on a barbecue? Jackson.
Mine's developing, so I would give it a strong 10.
Out of 10?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This
Mine's
is full confidence.
developing strong 10.
Ignorance is
Where
bliss,
you
everybody.
go up from there.
You don't. It's pure perfection every time.
Quick,
So-
Sam, how did you follow that delusion?
If it's veggies, I'm gonna say I'm pretty good. But last time I cooked meat, he landed in the hospital.
There we go. So shit.
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. David,
Corn.
Corn.
That's it.
you grill corn?
That's it.
That's it. Corn. That's my game.
Yeah, this is funny because my son gave himself a 10. I would give myself a 6.5, 7 because I overcook everything. My wife is so paranoid about undercooked meat that everything from this house comes out dry and dead.
See, it's
Just
it's
like
Just
my
like
soul.
your urine.
And your
Just like my
urine.
urine.
Dang it.
On that, this brings us to the end of another Packfiller podcast, just like my urine. Be sure to like and subscribe as it truly helps boost our power. Drop us a review of your favorite on your favorite podcasting platform. Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And what's final temp? We made it to 77.5, so we gained 10 degrees in the studio without
No problem.
AC.
Amazing.